Hello everybody, Cooper here, and welcome to my next rebuild here on AFL 26. We are doing St Kilda today. They won the poll. It was them and Geelong were the two teams that I pitched, but I also pitched any other team that you wanted to see done. It was actually a tie in the end between St Kilda and the other team, so I figured St Kilda should probably win. So what I'm going to do at the end of, or once this video is live I should say, is I'm going to put up a poll, and if you want to see your team next, I'm going to put all the teams that I haven't done yet. All you got to do is vote for the next team. But today we are doing St Kilda, and they are probably one of the teams that is in most need of a rebuild, funnily enough. So I don't really know where to begin with this one because there's so many different directions we could take. We've got a lot of cap space coming up, I do believe. We've also got the contract situation of Nazaya Wanganeen-Miller. So there's a lot of stuff for us to look at for this rebuild. I'm hoping it's only going to take a couple of seasons because there's a lot of room for growth. So we're just going to strap ourselves in, see what happens. If we can just finish in the top 12 this upcoming season, that's going to be awesome. And if we have a look at our list, we actually have sort of a weird blend of some really, really good young talent, but a lot of our better players are sort of on the wrong side of sort of 28, 29. They're always a little bit older. Guys like, been around forever, Zach Jones, guys like Jack McRae, who we bought in for whatever reason. I don't know, like he's not going to move St Kilda any closer to a premiership, I believe. Wanganeen-Miller, I'm going to hang on to him for as long as I can. But Brad Hill, who's been here for a long time. Jack Steele. Mitch Owen's a really good young player. I do like the look of Machito. We'll deal with Max King in a minute. But there's a lot of players here that I think are either on the, as I said, the wrong side of the age profile that we want to be looking at. We've got Phillip, who here is quite good. We've got, is it Tauru? Is how you say this guy's name? I really like the look of him. Sean Maker, I think I've picked up in a couple of my other rebuilds. We've got Webster as well, who's older. Mason Wood, who's a bit older as well. Jack Sinclair, older as well. Good players, but just old. This is a weirdly old team, but with a bit of young sort of young presence at the start of that list. So there's a few things for us to work through here. I'm not going to do any contracts just yet. We're just going to get through to the 2025 off season and obviously do any finals should we make them. Our objectives for this year, as I said, finish in the top 12, beat 6 top 4 teams, beat 4 top 6 teams from last year. I don't know why I couldn't say that correctly. Win 5 home games. That last one should be pretty easy. The match objectives are just for the upcoming match. Just ignore it. And I'm just putting together our best 22. And we're in a universe, fortunately, where Max King is not injured at the start of the season. So that's nice. I'm going to play him for as long as I can. Obviously, he's got a really bad injury record and a very, very long contract. So we just have to wait and see how that goes. But I'm going to play around with, what I think our best sort of 22 is at this point in time. I'm probably going to include a few more younger players than usual. And then obviously this team will try and play week in, week out, obviously injury dependent. Okay, we're going to trial with this lineup for the start of the season. We've got Liam Stocker in a back pocket. We've got Ari Schoenmaker, who's going to start at fullback. I took out, I think it might have been Jimmy Webster at fullback. I couldn't remember. Or Dougal Howard. Either way, they're sort of getting a bit older and they're probably not as good as they used to be. So we're going to try with the youngster here. If he's no good, we'll try something a bit later. We've got Bradley Hill in a back pocket, who's going to be sort of running in and around half back. Wanganeen-Miller, we're not going to touch. Callum Wilkie, very, very good. Jack Sinclair, very, very good. But obviously, we just have to be aware of their age. Jack McRae on a wing. Marcus Windhager, the tagging superstar. He is going to sit in there and do a job for us. Mason Wood, I'm actually going to put him on the bench now that I think about it. I'm going to put Travalia on a wing. And then we've got Rowan Marshall, Jack Steele, and Darcy Wilson in the middle. And then on half forward, we've got Matthias Philippou. And then we've got Cooper Sharman at centre half forward, Machito, and Jack Higgins, Max King, Hugo Garcia as the rest of the forward line. On the bench, we've got Hugh Boxall, Mason Wood, Hunter Clark, Alex Taru, and Ryan Burns as the sub. If there's anybody I'm desperately missing, I'll obviously have a look at it a bit later on and probably gives them some games later down the line. And we absolutely get belted in pre-season by the Swans by 130 points down at Moorabbin. Fantastic start to the video. Isaac Heaney continuing his amazing form that he has had for the past few seasons. 38 disposals and 4 goals. Chad Warner, also 44 disposals and 4 goals. Very, very good. Hopefully this is not a sign of things to come. Now we've got round 1 against the Adelaide Crows. There is no injuries, fortunately enough, from that game up against Sydney. And even if there was, they are fully healed now. So hopefully we don't get smacked at home. We are going in unchanged from a game that got belted by 130. Much more competitive this time around. But unfortunately, we do lose in round 1 up against the Crows at the Adelaide Oval. We only lose by 3 goals, which was very, very handy. Jack McRae got a bit of the ball. Sinclair kicked a few goals, as did Philippou, Sharman, and Travalia. Dawson was really, really good. 47 disposals. Excellent player, Jordan Dawson. We really like him on this channel. But I will catch up with you guys at season's end. Our goal, as I said at the start of the video, is just finish in the top 12. That's all we have to do. This season is going to be a bit of a write-off. Let's see how it plays out. I'm just going to say this now. This is one of the worst runs with injury that I've had doing one of these rebuilds. We were absolutely smashed by injury. It was looking like we were going to finish in the bottom 2 for quite a long time. But then 3 wins towards the back end of the season really propped us out of the bottom 2 and into the bottom 5, which I don't know. Is that really an achievement? Which we aim for 12th, we finished 14th. Not a great run of things. We'll have a look at the finals and see how that played out in a minute. Season awards are now here. Jai Newcomb from mid-season draft to Brownlow medalist. Jack Steele is in on the votes. He finished with 19 votes, but Matt Crouch finished 2nd. Tom Green finished 3rd, with Thompson Dow finishing 4th. That is odd, but okay, sure. Sam Darcy finished as the leading goal kicker of the competition, also known as the Coleman Medal. I don't know why I had to over-enunciate that. And then Riley Sanders with the Rising Star Award, very well deserved. And as expected, no Saints on the All-Australian team. Can't say I'm too surprised by that. But a very, very good season by, some of our players. A lot of our players missed a lot of time through injury. Let's have a look at who won the grand final in the end. It was Hawthorn beating Sydney once again. If I actually can get over to the grand final. Come on, there we go. 173 to 116. Not a very straight kicking grand final by the Swans, but a very high scoring game nonetheless. Who got Norm Smith? Jai Newcomb joins Dusty Martin as, I think, the only player to get a Norm Smith and a Brownlow in the same year. I'm trying to think of who else has done it. There's no one I can think of off the top of my head. I know Chris Judd won a Norm Smith and a Brownlow in his career, but he didn't do it in the same year. So if there is somebody who has done that, please let me know down below. But a very, very good performance. Joel Amati actually kicked 5 for the Swans, but they couldn't win the game, unfortunately, for them. And for us, it was actually Rowan Marshall who led the goal kicking for us, funnily enough. Bradley Hill finished with 25 goals in 2nd. Jack Steele in 3rd with 24, as well as Max King, who did play 17 games, but really, really struggled to kick any reasonable amount of goals in that time. Leading ball getter was Jack Steele, who played every game, was exceptional. We did lose Wanganeen Miller for a few games, but he was still fairly reasonable. Philippou was really good, Windager was good, Travalia in his debut season was exceptional. And I can see that in the latest patch, they haven't fixed the goal kicking just yet in terms of the accuracy, as Max King did kick 24 goals, 50. I don't know if he wins the Idiot Hat Award for the most behinds this season. We'll have a look who wins that in this season, if my controller will cooperate. Mitch Lewis, 36 goals, 90. Oh my, I don't understand why this is a thing. Treacy, 84 behinds. Sam Darcy, 83 behinds. Geez, the Hawks did not kick straight this year between Mabior Chol and Mitch Lewis. But that now brings us to the free agency period, and we need to have a serious look at the players that are uncontracted for us. As we can see, we have quite a few of them. I think we have 12. So we've got Windager, who I dare say we'll probably bring back. Zach Jones, we're going to find you a retirement home that is nice and comfortable for your bald head. Wanganeen Miller, as much as I would like to keep him, there is, based on the season we've had, unless we offer him an absolute bag, there is no way he will re-sign. I don't know what his morale's going to be like, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. Is it Ryan Burns? Yes, Ryan Burns. He's got very high morale, which is good. Has a little bit of potential left to grow. We'll just have a look and see how he goes. I can't say I'm too familiar with his work. Oh my goodness me. Here we go. Uncontracted. I'm all over the shop. Liam Stocker, we're going to let him go. Dougal Howard, we're going to let him go. Ari Schoenmaker was pretty good in the games that he played. We'll have a look at his contract situation shortly. Jimmy Webster, you're gone. We did pick up Lockie Hunter in the mid-season draft. I don't know if we'll bring him back. And then we've got McLennan, Heath, and O'Connell as well. So I'm going to have a look at some of our expired contracts, but also some of the contracts that we do have that are expiring next season, just to see if any need to be extended beyond 2026. Everybody that is now missing on this list, I have re-signed. That is not Zach Jones, that's Jack Higgins. Zach Jones, we are saying farewell to. Wanganeen Miller, we're not going to say farewell to just yet. I just want to see what the trade market is like, and if we're not going to get enough back, I may as well keep him. But then with a view to trade him, or like a promise to trade him later down the line. But obviously I would like to keep him. He is very, very good. Stocker's gone, Howard's gone, Webster's gone, McLennan, Heath, and O'Connell are all gone. We've got 11 player spots open and about $3.2 million to spend. So free agency and the trade period should be a lot of fun this season, as there's a lot of stuff for us to do, and we have a top 5 draft pick to use in either a trade or have a look at someone decent in the draft. And now free agency this time around is actually going to be a little bit different. And I've got a reason for it, because we're getting to the point in the season where the new contracts that have been signed, because I know Bontempelli re-signed the other day, Cozzy Pickett obviously signed a big 9-year extension, so we've got those kind of players, but Bontempelli is also still here in free agency, so obviously Cozzy Pickett's I think contracted for another few years. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens, because I know it was heavily rumoured that Bontempelli, before he re-signed, was going to sign with the Bulldogs, with the Saints, because I believe he was a St Kilda supporter as a kid. I don't know that for a fact, but I think that may be true, or I may be mixing him up with somebody else. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out, but I know he is a little bit older, but Bontempelli could be an absolute wonderful signing. I'm obviously very aware of the fact that he did just re-sign, I think literally yesterday, the time I'm recording this, on a 4-year deal with the Bulldogs. And I know that I'm trying to go down a path of youth here, but Bontempelli, again, along with Wanganeen and Miller, if we offered them like a godfather amount of money, I feel like we could convince him to come over and play for the Saints, maybe even captain the team next year, we don't know. But in terms of the other free agents, I'm not going to go for too many veterans as I have done with some of our other rebuilds. I'm going to go a bit more down a youth path, mainly players that have either been delisted or are just going to be looking for that second opportunity. But I also think a lot of our damage is going to be done in the trade period. Our first free agent signing is going to be that of Archer Daywicks from Essendon. He was delisted. He doesn't have great ability at this point in time, but does have a little bit of potential. 73 to 82 as his potential overall. Was a decent pickup in the rookie draft last season. And I think he can just do a little bit of everything. So we're going to pick him up on $105,000 a year for 3 seasons. And I think that is a very good start to free agency. Jeremy Sharp is up next. We've signed him up from Fremantle as an unrestricted free agent, 2-year deal, $340,000 a season. Only 24 years of age. I think he is going to be very, very decent for us. As you can see, 189 centimeters tall. Again, just one of those players. We can sort of plug him in anywhere, sort of half back, half forward, midfield. He can basically do a job for us pending any injuries. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier, of the players that were injured for a predominant period of time, there are quite a few that are still out with injury. One of them is Rowan Marshall, who's out with an ACL. Darcy Wilson's out with a dislocated shoulder, and we've got a few more down here. Lockie Hunter and Hugh Boxall are also out with injuries. Boxall with an ACL, Lockie Hunter's only got a meniscus, which is 2 to 3 weeks, which is fine. But we really don't have a number 1 ruckman going into the start of next season. So ordinarily, I wouldn't do repeat signings, but since he is so heavily linked with St Kilda, I'm going to go in the Tom De Koning direction once again. I can't remember exactly what rebuild we signed him up for, but I know we have signed him up before. But I think of all the players, that's not where I need to go, that is most likely to go and sign with the St Kilda Saints. If I can find him, where are you, Mr. De Koning? Oh, he's at the wrong end of the alphabet. He is definitely the most likely to sign with St Kilda. Bontempelli, we could either go him or Bontempelli. I don't know if actually we can afford both, but we're going to have a look at Tom De Koning, as we've got to have to keep in mind that we also do need to re-sign, I've forgotten his name, Wanganeen Miller. So we're going to go, how old is he, 26? 26. I think a 6-year deal is reasonable here. If we can go, I'm just going to submit an offer here just to see what the Saints do. $735,000 a season. I am still on the hardest difficulty for contracts. There's no sliders or anything like that I can adjust, unfortunately. So we might just overpay by a little bit. Maybe put it up to like $850, which is what he was on last season. That way we can still, reasonably say we can somewhat have overpaid. He's obviously going to definitely get a lot more than $850,000 a season in real life and free agency from whoever signs him. But in terms of video game land, and this is a video game, I think he is what we need right now, at least for the start of next season, considering Rowan Marshall is out with injury. So Tom De Koning, welcome to St Kilda. And just for the fun of the rebuild, we are going to try and sign Marcus Bontempelli as well. I know we weren't going to sign anybody that's sort of in the 28, 29 sort of age bracket. This is the only exception, Scout's Honour. So we're going to offer him a 4-year deal, which is exactly what he got with the Western Bulldogs, and he wants about $1.345 million a season. How much cap space do we actually have? We have $2 million, so we should be able to get it done and re-sign Wanganeen Miller now that I think about it. So I'm going to put this deal through. Hopefully he does accept. And he has accepted. Bontempelli is now a Saint. And with the adjustments we have made to the roster, Wanganeen Miller is now happy to re-sign. We've offered him a 9-year deal. He only wants $735,000 a season. He's not as good in game as he is in real life, but I still obviously want to re-sign him. So we are going to offer him a big deal that is actually going to exceed the salary cap for next season. But we haven't traded anybody away yet. We've only just let expired contracts expire. So we still have to make some moves in the trade market just to alleviate some cap pressure. As you can see, for 2026, we're currently 100 grand over the salary cap now. So I'm happy to proceed through to the trade period. I will let you know of any trades that I do make. I dare say they won't be too high profile. I think I'm going to keep the 5th pick and we'll just draft whoever's best available. I think that's what we're going to do. And further news, in free agency, the Western Bulldogs have lost Ed Richards to Hawthorn, and they received draft pick 22 as compensation. Darcy Wilson has returned from injury, which is lovely. Jack Buckley has been traded to the Crows in exchange for pick 44 and Lockie Scholl, who are now heading over to GWS. Mitch Hinge has been traded to Melbourne for pick 46 and 27. And Sam Clohessy has been traded from the Suns. I was about to say from the Bulldogs, even though I know he's my player. From the Suns to the Bulldogs in exchange for pick 21. That's good value for the Suns, actually. What I'm going to do is actually going to trade up to pick number 1. Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't do this, but there is a specific reason why. Because we do have the 5th pick, and outside of the sort of auto-generated guys they have on the, the State League teams, if we go to the Under-18s Championships, none of the players that are sort of high overall really have any good potential. The only player that is really, really good is Braden Boyce, who is 69 overall, which is nothing. I mean, it's not nothing, but 91 to 99 potential. And apart from him, there's this guy here, Mr. Pollard, who's okay, so we could potentially get someone at pick 2. But apart from that, that's about it in terms of the really high-level prospects. So I feel like our pick at pick 5 would be wasted. There's Campbell down here, who's okay, but he's not a top 5 level player. So I'm either going to go to Richmond or West Coast to try and get a deal done. I don't know how it's going to look. We'll just see what happens, but that is one deal that I am going to try and make. Apart from that, I'm just going to be shedding salary in this trade period. And just like that, our trade period is done. I went for an approach that was a little bit more streamlined in this video. I hope you don't mind. If you'd rather me do a bit more of a complex breakdown, please let me know down in the comments, and then I'll sort of go back to more of a standard format, but I'm trying something a little bit different here. We did 3 trades in the trade period, nothing too super fancy. Our first trade, we sent Paddy Dow off to Richmond in exchange for pick 22 plus pick 26 as well, just to move up a little bit in the draft. Paddy Dow goes and plays with his brother over in Richmond. That's wonderful. Our second trade, we sent Dan Butler over to North Melbourne because we know they love getting old guys. We get pick 28 back. We also include pick 45 in the 3rd round, as well as a future 3rd round pick. And the big deal here is we send pick 5, which is our own pick 22, which we got from Richmond, our future 1st round pick, over to the West Coast Eagles in exchange for pick 2. I couldn't really get a deal done for pick 1, so we had to settle for West Coast in the end at pick 2. So of those 2 defenders that I really like in the draft, whoever Richmond don't pick, we're assuming they do pick one of them, we'll pick the other one. That is fine. Our work here is done. We have a little bit of money left, just under $650,000. I don't know why I couldn't say it correctly. But all of our guys that are uncontracted right now, if we just have a quick look at them, there's 7 players. Wave goodbye, clap your hands for the guys who've been here for a while, but they are gone, and we are going to head into the draft now. National draft is now here, but before we get into national draft, we have to go over the other transactions that went on in this off-season. We've already covered our own transactions, but we have to go through the rest of the league now. Brisbane Lions have traded Zach Bailey to the Doggies in exchange for a future 2nd and pick 36. Coop and McDonald's off to Collingwood in exchange for pick 51 and pick 12. Callum Archie has signed with Port Adelaide as a free agent. Brisbane get pick 33 as compensation. Oscar Allen's off to Melbourne. They finally get the key forward that they've been after for so long. Josh Weddle's off to Freo in exchange for 2 first-round picks, which is quite interesting. Jack Bose is going back to the Suns for an unused pick and pick 9. Jace Burgoyne's off to Carlton. I don't know why. Ollie Dempsey's been traded to the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have been very busy in this trade period. And Nick Watson's off to the Crows in exchange for a future 1st-round pick and pick 4. Ryden Gardner's off to Port. Sam Walsh has been traded to Hawthorn in exchange for pick 17 and pick 4. So pick 4 is getting passed around like a spliff. Judd McVie is off to North Melbourne. I don't know why I couldn't read there, for a future 2nd round pick. Jamara has been traded to Port in exchange for, wow, draft pick 15, a future 1st round pick, and draft pick 3. So 3 1st round picks for Jamara. That seems expensive. We've reached 50,000 members and Lockie Hunt is back from injury. What a wonderful time. But as I said, the draft is here. We only need to make 4 picks. So let's see who Richmond take with the first pick. They stupidly do not take one of the really good halfbacks. They instead take Landon Dean, 72 overall, 18-year-old who apparently weighs 40 kilograms. We've got to now make our pick, and the 2 best players in the draft are either Braden Boyce or Spencer Pollard, who isn't as good. Let's just have a look at him just to see. He's got a beautiful man bun, Western Australian. But we're not going to draft him. We are going to draft Braden Boyce. My heart was already set on him, as he is the better of the 2. We do need some more halfbacks, as we did list a few of them. So welcome aboard, Braden Boyce. And with our next pick, we're going to be taking Easton Lang from Western Australia. He's 70 overall, but doesn't have as good a potential as Braden Boyce. But we do need another key defender. He's going to be a decent player for us, I think. I don't know how much he is going to play, but if we go really deep into the future, he's going to be half decent. We're now getting into the point of the draft where it starts to get a little bit mature-agey, and we are here at pick 55. We can see there's Geordie Payne at, at pick 55. Obviously, we're pick 55, but I'm just looking at strictly AFL listed players from last season to see if there's anybody half decent. There's a few players from previous draft classes who have been delisted. We've got Lee Kalir, who we've signed previously as a free agent. We've got Francis Evans, who used to play over the road at Carlton. Callum Coleman-Jones, former teammate of mine. Aaron Francis. There's a lot of good players here. I'm trying to think. Lockie Sullivan. Yes, Lockie Sullivan, 28 years old. Another halfback. We don't really need another halfback. Zane Cordy, who I think may have actually been on our list last season, funnily enough. But I'm going to go in the Logan Evans direction from Port Adelaide. He's on our series at the moment with Port Adelaide, so let's just bring him over here and he can do a little bit of a job for us as a utility. So far in the draft, I've not really been drafting for need. I've really just been drafting for best player available, but I do need another ruckman, and I'm going to take Locke Rawlinson, who... Why is he listed as a ruckman? I've just noticed that. He's 177 centimetres tall, for God's sake. We're not drafting him. Who else is here? I just saw he was here. We're not going to draft him. I changed my mind. I haven't really drafted for need so far at this point of the draft, and that is about to change. We need a ruckman just to back up Tom DeConing. I've forgotten his name, even though we just signed him. As we know, Rowan Marshall is going to be out for the start of the season, and he is getting older. So we're going to take a former teammate of mine, Daniel Scholl, who is a big unit, Shoulders Scholl, as we do call him, down at Sturt. We're going to pick him up, and he can just sort of sit in the reserves and do nice things. If he ever plays the game for us, we'll be in a lot of trouble. But our draft is now done. And with 2025 officially done, it is now time to set our expectations for next season. And I think finishing in the top 4 is potentially a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to go for it anyway. We've got a lot of funds available, as I did not upgrade our facilities at any point last season. So let's go update the medical facilities. That'll get us at $1.4 million worth of funds available. I don't think there's anything else for us to do. Hopefully, with our upgraded medical facilities, we won't be so bad as last season. We also have to remember that we don't have our first round pick this year, which could potentially be a little bit risky, but we'll see what happens. 2026 is now here, and we've got a semi-decent lineup. Obviously, we've still got a few injuries, which we are recovering from last season, but you know what? I don't mind where we're at right now. Our fullback line, we've got Bradley Hill. I keep wanting to say Bobby Hill, but I know it's Bradley. Ari Schoenmaker, Braden Boyce, the number 2 draft pick from last season's draft. Wanganeen Miller, Callum Wilkie, Jack Sinclair, and then we've got Jack McRae on the wing, the Bont, Travalia, Darcy Wilson, Jack Steele, Tom DeConing. That is a really good midfield. Bit of mix of youth and a little bit of experience as well. And then we've got Alex Tarau, I still don't know. Max King at centre half forward. Mateus Philippou, Hugo Garcia, Mitch Owens, Jack Higgins. And then on the bench, we've got Mason Wood, Lockie Hunter, Hunter Clark, Windager, and Logan Evans as the sub. We've still got a few injuries. As I said, not absolutely perfect. Our preseason game, much better than last season's preseason up against Sydney. We only lose by 26 this time around at Moorabbin. Jordan Clark, Josh Treacy get some good votes in a preseason game. It really doesn't matter. And funnily enough, we're also playing Fremantle in our round 1 game, which is quite funny. Is this opening round? No, it is round 1. If we have a look at our objectives for this year that we have set, we've got the top 4 finish, as we know. We've got to win 2 finals, which means we either have to finish outside the top 4 and reach prelim, or finish in the top 4, lose the first round, and then get to the grand final, or just win both and get to the grand final, you know what I mean? And then avoid losing 4 games in a row. That's probably going to be, or probably actually the second objective is probably the toughest. We'll just see how we go. I didn't like any of the other objectives, but hopefully with a bit less injury misfortune, we're going to be okay. Let's see if we can get a win in round 1. We get belted by 68 points at Marvel Stadium. Not a good start. I mean, look, to end the season, it wasn't ideal. We lost our first 3 games of the year, and then we had 3 really big wins to start sort of post-gather round, and then we lose 3 of our final 5 games to finish outside the top 8 on percentage. We were literally in the top 4 with about 5 weeks to go, and then the wheels fell off, and now we're out of the finals, and we're very, very sad about it. So, Richmond, they've won 2 games. West Coast are going to have our first round pick, which will probably be in the 10 range. Actually, it might be in the it's top 10 pick-ish. Top 8 pick, I think. But we now got to get through to the finals, see how it all plays out. Hopefully nothing terrible happens in terms of, like, I don't know, Carlton win the Premiership. That would be sad, considering they are 1.5% ahead of us. That would be sad. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Jai Newcomb, back-to-back Brownlow medalist. Absolutely incredible. Matt Rao, 26 votes, finishes in second. Ollie Wines in third. Dunkley fourth. Oliver fifth. No Saints, I believe. Not that I can see anyway. And Jai Newcomb also wins the Coleman, I'm sure. Okay, 44 goals for him. The last Brownlow medalist to win the Coleman and... well, the Brownlow and the Coleman in the same year is what I mean. Probably Tony Lockett in 1987 would be my guess. There's nobody else that I can think of that would have done it since. Isaac Heaney in second, and then is it Brandon or Brennan Cox in third? This is a weird year, this one. Aaron Norton. Harley Reid, who's now a key forward apparently. I don't know what the update's done to the rosters. I don't like it. This is strange, but Harley Reid's now a key forward. That's hilarious. And the Rising Star winner, no votes for our guy, which is interesting because I think he played every game. Maxwell Palmer finishes in first, and then Mr. Parsons, Pollard, not Parsons, ended up going to Geelong, I think at pick 8. He ends up in third. No All-Australians for us again this season, so a bit of a poor year, if I'm being perfectly honest. A little bit annoyed, actually, to be honest. I really thought we had a chance of making the top 4. We were there with about 5 weeks to go, and then, as I said, the wheels kind of fell off. Fortunately, Carlton don't win the Premiership, although they do make the semi-final. Hawthorn have had back-to-back really strong grand final performances. They beat Collingwood by 99 points in the grand final. Sam Walsh getting a Norm Smith medal. Jai Newcomb almost made it back-to-back Brownlows and back-to-back Norm Smith medals, which is outrageous, and he won a Coleman. Jai Newcomb might be the best player in AFL history at this point, but a very, very good game. Hawthorn gets another Premiership. Bruce gets his 5th. I think it's his 5th, or at least his 4th. I think it's his 4th, but still an outstanding performance. And just have a look at our season stats. Injury-wise, we had a much better run. We were a lot more lucky, I guess, but still just couldn't quite crack the finals, which is a little bit of a shame because we are really running out of time with a lot of our older players, so we may have to move them on to get a little bit younger. So even though Callum Wilkie was absolutely exceptional, I mean, he kicked 30 goals from centre-half back and led the goal kicking. I mean, that doesn't really make a great deal of sense to me. Philippou was exceptional. Mitch Owens was really good. Max King, 26 goals. I don't want to look at how many behinds he kicked. Higgins was good. Wanganeen Miller just continuing to impress. Travalia was exceptional. Bontempelli was really good. De Koning was great. Taru was pretty good at half forward. Jack Steele, again, was exceptional. Jack Sinclair also was really good. And then Braden Boyce in his debut season, 18 goals from halfback was awesome. A lot of work to do. A lot of work to do still. And Mitch Lewis makes it back-to-back years with 90 behinds in a season. We may need to have a look at his career statistics, but 32 goals, 92 is absolutely disgusting. And it appears Ben King can't kick straight either. Who kicked the most behinds for us? That's one thing I didn't actually have a look at. Actually, I need to go back over here. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to have a quick look. I dare say it was Max King. 64 behinds. So between the two King brothers, they kicked about 150 behinds between them. Gross. And as we get into the off-season of 2026, we actually have less uncontracted players that we need to sign. But the ones we do need to sign are very, very good. We've obviously got Darcy Wilson, who did miss a bit of time. I think he's currently out with an ACL. So this career mode may as well be called ACL the Musical. We've got, I think, Travis Shearer, who we picked up in the mid-season draft. I mean, not the mid-season draft, the rookie draft. I don't actually remember drafting him. Philippou, who we're obviously going to re-sign. Alex Dodson, who we may re-sign. But yeah, we're sort of getting towards the bottom of the barrel with some of these guys. But Wilson and Philippou are obviously the priority. And Darcy Wilson is all signed up. 4 years, $465,000 a season. I think it did take into account that he is injured at the moment, so that's actually quite a cool feature. But he is now signed up through 2030 I highly doubt the rebuild is going to take that long. Philippu's also signed up now, 750 grand on the dot for a season, or per season, I should say, for 6 years, signed up through to 2032. And we still got to sign 10 players with about 700 grand left on the books. I think the guys that are currently uncontracted, I'm either going to trade all of them away or just let them go via delisting. Free agency wise, I don't know what I'm going to do, mainly because we haven't got that much money because we spent all of it last year. So I think I may head straight through to the trade period. Little early trade from the trade period. Jack Watkins has been traded from the Giants to Richmond for pick 37. Josh Worrell's been traded to Geelong for pick 24. And Ginnivan, after spending a couple of years at Hawthorn, has been traded to Freo in exchange for a future first and pick 47. As you can see, our trade period is done. We've made a few more trades than I typically would have made. 5 trades, including 2 with North Melbourne. So consider that like a 2-part trade where it's like one big trade, but it's just sort of a few different moving pieces. The first portion of the trade is we are sending Callum Wilkie and Mason Wood, 2 of our older players. Callum Wilkie is actually one of our best players last year, as well as pick 27 off to North Melbourne in exchange for Will Dawson. Now, on paper, you're probably thinking that seems like a lot to give up, and you know what? It probably is. But he is a very good, very tall, young defender with a lot of potential. Callum Wilkie and Mason Wood are getting older. Mason Wood, obviously, I think used to play for North Melbourne, if I'm not correct. If I am not mistaken, I believe that is correct, is what I'm trying to say. And we also had to throw in pick 27 to get the deal done. I'm quite happy with it. The rest of the deal that we do with North Melbourne will make sense later, so hold on, bear with. Second deal was Bradley Hill off to Collingwood in exchange for pick 35. That was a pick that we on-traded to Fremantle, as you can tell on screen where it says tied to Fremantle, so that gives you a hint of where that pick's going. We then sent Alex Dodson off to the Crows. He was out of contract, he didn't want to re-sign, so we sent him back to South Australia, where we think he'll be very happy rucking behind Riley O'Brien. Now, the second part of this North Melbourne trade was we also sent Hunter Clark, Cooper Sharman, and is it Luke Collard, I believe? We're going for a bit of Savlaki. We've got Nick Larkey on the side. He has signed up to, I think, a 4-year deal. We need another big key forward because at points last season, we had Mitch Owens playing at full forward. We've got Ben King. We've now got, not Ben King, Max King. We've now got Nick Larkey. Hopefully, both of them will be healthy over the course of the season. And our final trade, we sent pick 35, which we would have gotten from North Melbourne, as well as our future first and second round pick next year to get Murphy Reid from Fremantle. He does become a very, very good player on this game. I think he's going to be a nice addition to our midfield, considering we did trade away Bradley Hill, we did trade away Mason Wood, as well as Hunter Clark, so I figured we'd need to get one back. And contracts-wise, they're all fairly affordable contracts. Nick Larkey's contract was 800 grand per season through to 2030. Will Dawson, $320,000 through to 2029. And then Murphy Reid was a bit of a cheaper contract, but it's contracted for a long time through to 2035, meaning we've got 12 spots available to re-sign players. All of the players that I have re-signed are now on the book, so everybody that's currently uncontracted, I'm just going to let go. And we've got $2 million to spend should we need to. We can go into free agency just to see who's there, who are the top-rated players, because I think we've basically built out our depth really, really nicely. I just want to add a few more players if I need to, if I find anybody that would be genuine. And, I mean, when I say realistic, this is a video game. We're not really in the realms of realism. We've got Bontempelli and De Koning and Nick Larkey, and yeah, none of this is realistic, but we're having fun. It's what it's all about. But I still want it to be, have it make sense. Not necessarily be realistic, but have it make sense. So like Pendlebury, for example, or McGovern, who just retired, neither of those would make sense. May and Witts, they're probably happy where they are. Blixhouse, Dangerfield, and Tex Walker are not leaving their clubs. And then we're sort of getting into the Jamie Elliott territory, and even further down the line, Jason Johannesson. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave it as is because then we'd just be spending money for money's sake. So I'm happy just to leave those, that $2 million open for next season, plus any potential draftees that we will have next season. So I haven't actually had a look at our draft hand that we've got at this point. We start at pick 41, and then all of our picks follow suit, and then we start in the 3rd round next season, as obviously we traded our 1st and 2nd rounder to Fremantle. So I'm very happy with the business we've done. Hopefully that will get us into the finals. I mean, we'll still aim for top 4, I think, next season, but I think if we can at least get into the finals, we're obviously a chance at winning a premiership. And now to cover the ground of the 2026 off-season, Mitch Georgiadis has been sent to the Gold Coast Suns in exchange for pick 14 and pick 32. Georgie Wardlaw's off to Hawthorn for pick 11 and Massimo D'Ambrosio. I feel like that's quite a good trade for North Melbourne, to be honest. Tom McCartan's off to the Giants for pick 15. Lockie Schultz, he's had enough of Collingwood. He's off to Bulldogs for pick 12. Alex Davies has been sent to Richmond for a future 3rd rounder. I think the Suns are just saving a bit of money there. Harvey Thomas has been traded to Melbourne for an unused draft pick. So Melbourne got Harvey Thomas for free. That's interesting. Hayden McLean has been sent to Melbourne. Aaron Cadman's been sent to Brisbane for an unused draft pick in pick 26. That is an absolute steal. Oliver Henry's been traded to the Brisbane Lions. Brisbane's done well this offseason for a future 3rd and 2nd round pick. Matt Rao has been sent to Hawthorn for pick 5 and pick 18. And Brisbane Lions Brisbane is all over this trade period, have sent Darcy Wilmot and pick 50 for a future 1st and a future 1st round pick and pick 10 to the Western Bulldogs. Patrick Sett has also returned from his rehab, which is lovely. We enter the draft at pick 38. There's really not a lot for us to do here. James Barrett, is he one of ours that we previously had? Let's have a quick scout, see if I do recognize him. Yeah, he is one of ours. Did I just not re-sign him? Was that stupid of me? Yep, let's draft him. Whoopsie. I probably should have re-signed him if that's the case. Is there any other Hugh Boxall I didn't re-sign him? Wow, I was really, really poor on re-signing players in free agency. Let's have a look. Who else did I not re-sign? Only Hugh Boxall. Okay, let's bring him back. Just going for a bit of a backup key forward here. We're going to go in the Tyler Welsh direction. Did feature in our Adelaide Crows video, obviously. Hasn't really featured anywhere else in this in my AFL 26 cycle. I'm going to go Lockie Smith, just a nice backup ruck here with our next pick. Has a little bit of potential, but apart from that, I don't think he's going to play that much considering we've got De Koning and Rowan Marshall ahead of him. We're going to draft Jack. I don't know how to say his surname, but we're just going to draft Jack. That's my next pick. And with our final 3 picks, we've taken Bodie Ryan, Luca Grego, and Riak Andrew, who were all delisted and out of contract, and we've picked them up. Very, very nice work by us. And I think with this season objective, there's actually no reasonable ones here. I'm not aiming for fan satisfaction. I'm not aiming for happy members. I'm going to go be placed in the top 10 across 8 different rounds. I feel like that is perfectly reasonable. And it's now time for a brand new season. The 2027 season is here. These are our objectives. We need to win 8 games at home. That seems reasonable. Win 6 consecutive games without suffering a loss or draw. We get a nice bonus for that. And then obviously maintain a top 10 position across 8 rounds. I thought it was 12, but that is okay. Also, quick public service announcement. In between the start of the off-season and the start of the video, I did reset my academy because I think between updates, something happened. I don't really know what it was, and a few of the player positions were all out of whack. Because I do know that Alexander Turu is a defender, but I had him listed as a forward, so that's why I was playing him forward, because he was listed there. So I've reset the academy, and now all the player positions are correct. So if it's still, weird, sorry. But hopefully everything should be fixed now. Now, I've put together a best 22 for the upcoming season. We've got a pre-season game. I believe it's against Essendon, if I remember correctly. I know Darcy Wilson is still injured, but I think we are not doing too bad with this team. We've got Alex Turu, as I was talking about. He's going to be playing in the back pocket. Will Dawson, fullback. Braden Boyce in the other back pocket with Wanganeen Miller, Easton Lang, who we drafted last season. I think he was our 3rd or 2nd round pick or something like that. and Jack Sinclair. He is going to be at halfback. We've then got Jack McRae, Murphy Reid, Marcus Windhager, Jack Steele, Bontempelli, and Tom De Koning in the midfield. We've got Philippou, Max King at centre-half forward, Toby Travalia, Mitch Owens, Nick Larkey, Jack Higgins. How many Jacks have we got in this team? Good God. Rowan Marshall, Jeremy Sharp, Angus Hasty, Hugh Boxall, and then Liam Henry as the sub. As we do know, we've got Wilson, I've forgotten his first name, Darcy Wilson on sort of out of the squad at the moment. He's still recovering from his ACL, but we're looking very, very good. We finally won a preseason game in this video. 181 plays, 105. Jack Higgins and Jack Steele getting best on, all in that order, and then Wanganeen Miller with the 1 vote. A very, very good performance. Obviously, it's only preseason, but still a good indication of where we're at. We go unchanged into round 1 against the Eagles, who looks like they lost their round 1 game. I can't see who against, but they did lose by 48 points. So we obviously didn't play in opening round. Hopefully we can get a decent run of things in our first game of the season. We win by 10 after being down at 3/4 time. Sinclair, Wanganeen Miller, and Murphy Reid doing very, very nicely. Let's go through to the 2027 final series. Hopefully we'll be doing a little bit better. Will Joe Newcombe win 3 consecutive Brownlows? I don't know. Let's find out. Regular season is done, and we sneak into finals by the skin of our teeth. Our season was dead and buried by, I reckon, about round 12. And then we went on that 6-game win streak we needed. We were in 14th. We were in a lot of trouble. And then we sort of floated around a little bit after that, and then we won 3 of our last 5 to get the job done. We lose to the Crows away from home, actually, in round 24, but it didn't matter in the end. The Suns won, but we hold on by a percentage. Our percentage was really, really good this year. We've been very, very lucky. We get almost all of our objectives done. We still have time to get, actually, I think the 8 games at home has to be done in the home and away season, so we miss out on that. But we're in the top 10 for over 8 rounds, and we get the 6 consecutive wins, which was awesome. But the season is now complete. We have finals to play, and I didn't actually look at who we were playing. We're playing Freo, so it's the Murphy Reid revenge game over in Perth. We've got overseas travel, and you know what? Overseas travel, interstate travel. And you know what the best bit is? We are injury-free. We've been really lucky with injury this year after being absolutely just demolished by it in Season 1. We weren't too bad in Season 2 either. So our best team is basically the same as we showed you at the start of the season, with the exception of Darcy Wilson is now back from his injury. We've got a few other players who I can't remember who has come back and who hasn't, but we're looking pretty good at this point in time. But it's now elimination final time. This is as close as we've gotten to getting to a grand final in this video. This has been a long one, so I don't think we've actually had to do a 4th season just yet. I'm hoping we don't. But if we can make a grand final from 8th, that would be a fantastic achievement. Hopefully we can beat Freo away. We get it done. We were up by 8 points at halftime. Really strong 3rd quarter, 5 goals to 2, and we just hang on by 10 points in the end. Andy Brayshaw gets best on, but it's not good enough. Freo, bye-bye. Murphy Reid, you're a champion. Alex Turow is unfortunately injured for the semi-final. We're actually playing Melbourne in the semi. Let's put Hasty in that back pocket. And where is he? James Barrett. I don't actually think he's played a game for us all year. So we may actually still trade him away, even though we did pick him up in the rookie draft. I'm actually thinking, where are you? We're actually going to bring Hugh Boxall in instead. Actually, no, we're not. I changed my mind. But everybody else is going to remain the same. Hopefully, I mean, Alex's injury isn't too bad, which is good. It's only a 2 to 3 weeker. But hopefully Melbourne, how did they go and where did they finish? They finished top of the ladder. Okay, this is going to be tough. It is 1st versus 8th. Semi-final at the MCG. Can we cause an upset? No, we can't. Season 4 is going to be coming. We unfortunately can't get it done. John Newcombe can't make it 3 consecutive Brownlows, but Josh Dunkley does win it for himself and the Brisbane Lions. Matt Kennedy finishes in second, Sam Walsh in third in Hawthorn colours, Lachie Neale in fourth, doing a very, very good job. Coleman medalist is Aaron Norton. Charlie Curnow, actually it's a tied Coleman medal. We haven't had that for a long time. No Saints. Savlaki did a very, very good job. 37 goals for him. He probably kicked a lot of behinds, so just something to keep an eye on. And rising star is Reece Unwin. And do we have any All-Australians? We still don't have any All-Australians. We are so unlucky not to have gotten any All-Australians throughout this video. Brisbane win the grand final this time around, getting the job done over the Bulldogs, who have lost another grand final after losing in 2021. Who gets the Norm Smith? Tom Liberatore gets it in a losing side. The team lost by 52 and he still gets Norm Smith medal. That is very, very impressive. The Scottish Suitcase had a very good game, as well as Charlie Cameron. But yeah, disappointing season once again, but we made finals. We've made progress. And now the free agency section is open. We need to have a look at our state of affairs. I'm going to try and make this off season a little bit shorter, just because, quite frankly, this has been a longer video, but we have a lot of players that we need to re-sign. I'm going to re-sign them now. And after re-signing all those contracts, we now have 30 players on the books. We have about $4 million to spend, and we're going to be saying goodbye to Jack McRae and Rowan Marshall. 2 players who are just getting a little bit too old for my liking. Rowan Marshall, he's just sitting on the bench, doing his thing. Jack McRae's on a wing. I want to give some opportunities to some younger players, and I still think we can trade them to guys or to teams who are either wanting to sort of scrape over the line to get that premiership, or to some worse teams who are looking for a bit of experience. Now, Jack McRae used to play for the Bulldogs. Would he be interested in going back to the Bulldogs in pursuit of one more premiership? They did lose the grand final last year. That is something that makes sense. That's probably a trade I will explore. But Rowan Marshall, I have no idea where he's going. And just quickly before I forget, guys, Nick Larkey led the goal kicking, which we did expect, with 39 goals in his debut season with the Saints. Tom DeConing kicking a few goals was really good. Mitch Owens, 31. Bontempelli, 29, was really good. I'm surprised he didn't get really any votes in the Brownlow. He was a bit stiff, actually, considering the season he had. Higgins, Philippou, McRae were all very, very good as well. And the league-wide idiot hat is Van Rooyen with 89 behinds, followed by a close second in Nick Larkey as well, I just might add. But 89 behinds is outrageous. This is something that the devs really need to fix. It's been a very busy trade and free agency period. We're going to do the trades first because I did make another free agency signing and I don't want to spoil the trades by displaying the free agency signing first. So most of the trades that I did, I'm going to save the most important one till last. I basically all just pick swaps / dumping of salaries. So the first one was Rowan Marshall to Geelong, along with Lachie Hunter and Jeremy Sharp. These, I think, were all expiring contracts. We got picks 21 and 22 in return. 22 we then forwarded on to Gold Coast. 21 was sent to Carlton. I'm going to cover those now. We then sent Garcia and Boxall, as well as 22, to the Suns in exchange for Ben King. Both the King twins are on the Saints now. I desperately wanted the third key tall forward, I should say, just in case one of them got injured between now Larkey, King, and, well, King. The next one is moving Jack McRae to the Doggies, but we also sent Archie Day-Wicks, Ari Schoenmaker, and Bodie Ryan, and we get Cody Waitman in return. Just another nice, smart, reasonably priced small forward. I think he's going to do a good job for us. We then get Riak Andrew. We send Riak Andrew, Luca Grego, Lockie Evans, and Grant, whose first name I don't remember. We get Melbourne's future first round pick. We're going to use that pick in a minute. We then send that pick through to Carlton, along with pick 21 that we got from Geelong, along with Windager and, I'm calling him Jack, for pick 5, which we then flip to North Melbourne, as well as their own future first round pick, along with Darcy Wilson and Philippou, to get Colby McKercher, one of the best young midfielders in the AFL. And I tell you, I've done this for a very specific reason. A, it actually saves money. B, we have a lot of these sort of really okay, not okay, but sort of B to B plus really good young midfielders. I wanted to combine a couple of them to get like an A plus midfielder, and I think that will push us over the line in the finals coming into the future. And as we head into our contracts, we can see that we also signed Brian Myers in free agency. We can sort of float between the forward and the midfield on a very large contract. So we've actually spent we've got $2.5 million in cap space. We do have to spend that on 19 players. I'm not going to go and sign 19 free agents now. I'll just take whatever draft picks I have to the draft. We'll do the first round or the first couple of picks in the draft, but I really don't need to be showing you guys, roster spots 30 through 42. Darcy Jones has been traded to Melbourne in exchange, and pick 15 in exchange for Trent Rivers, and Charlie Koeman has been traded by North Melbourne to Geelong for pick 19. Those were the only other deals done in this trade period, so it was really just us that did a lot of trades in the trade period. I reckon we did more trades than the entire league combined, which is hilarious. Our first pick comes in at pick 46, and I'll just see who's here. We'll see who's available. Charlie Nichols is here, which is cool. Let's just have a look and see what other AFL listed players are here, because I don't think there's going to be anybody too reasonable from the national draft. There's McMullen, and then we're sort of getting... Actually, is Charlie Nichols just not listed by anybody? I'm assuming he's playing somewhere in Western Australia. That would be my guess. Nope, he's playing for the Adelaide Crows reserves, which is a little strange, but we are going to draft him. As I said before, I'm not going to show every single pick, so I will be back at the start of the 2028 season. Our objective for this season, win the Premiership, for God's sake. If this is not a top 4 team, I don't know what is, but we just need to just make the top 4, and I think we've got a real shot at a Premiership here. Our objective is win 1 game against the top 4 team from last year. That should be fairly easy. Win 2 finals. Again, make the grand final. That should be fairly easy, hopefully. And then win the Premiership, which we get a lot of money for. I'm not going to do preseason or anything like that. I'm just going to go straight through to the finals. I might cry if we don't make it. Unfortunately, we lose our last couple of games of the season. We actually lost 2 of our last 3, and we miss out on top 4 by a game. We did have very good percentage, but our season was actually in a lot of trouble early on. But we come back, we do okay in the end. We finished in 6th, but we were in sort of the top 3 and 4 for the large majority of the back part of the season. Oh, I get a message. I don't know who it's from. It's from my brother. I'll get to that later. Anyway, we've got to go through training. We have an elimination final against the Crows. It's a home game, which is reasonable. Now, if we obviously win this game, we go through to a semi. We need to win 2 finals as part of our objective. But I just want to win the grand final, because this has been a long enough video as is. Our squad is fully healthy, which is nice. This has basically been the best team that we've had in this entire video, so we're just going to leave it as is, no problems. Can we beat the Crows at home? We do. It's a 43-point win, a very strong final quarter, 7 goals to 1 behind, or 7 goals. We're up by 1 point, I should say, at 3/4 time. Then we kick 7 goals, 6 to 6 behind is what I was trying to say. We get through. Doesn't appear to have any injuries, which is nice. We now have Carlton at the MCG. Let's see if we can get the job done. We need to win this game to just wrap up this video. We just want to win the Premiership. It's been a long time coming for St Kilda fans. We lose again. We get better every single season, and somehow we lose. We were up about halfway through the final quarter, and then Carlton just beat us far too... I don't know what to say. I'm so cross. Andy Brayshaw ends up winning the Brownlow medal this season. Colton Tholstrup and Clayton Oliver finished second, or equal second, I should say, as teammates, which is quite cool. Jai Newcomb just appears to have just dropped off of the face of the earth after winning 2 consecutive Brownlow medals to start the video. Hogan, Cameron, and Stringer all at the top of the Coleman medal, but Hogan wins in the end by 9 goals. Nick Larkey looks like led our goal kicking. No, that's not true. Ben King did a very nice job. And we finally get an All-Australian in Lang. Is it Easton Lang, I think his name is, at centre-half back. Was very, very good for us, it appears. But we just got to get through another off-season. Another off-season of pain and wondering. We've improved every single off-season. We were, I think, 12th, then 9th, now 6th. Ugh.
75 years later.
Day 2 of the rebuild starts here, and we're going to start at the end of the trade period, actually, funnily enough. And we only did 3 trades, and they were basically all salary dumps because we needed to create room because there was a lot of really good free agents this year. First deal, we're saying farewell to Jack Sinclair. He's just regressing a little bit too much, and he's making far too much money for my liking. So we sent him and pick 34 off to Essendon for pick 22. We move up a little bit in the draft. I don't plan on using the draft picks too much, but if we can snag something good for the future on the off chance that we don't win the Premiership again this season, we've got a little bit of a bonus there. So that is something. The next trade, we just 4 guys from the rookie draft last year. We picked the last pick in the draft, basically, from Carlton. So that, again, just another salary dump. And another one here, just moving on players and getting the 137th pick in the draft, if that's something you really, really care about. But as I said, all of our action was done in free agency this year, and we have gone big. We've brought in the Brownlow medalist Andy Brayshaw, Nick Martin from Essendon, and 2-time Brownlow medalist and a Norm Smith winner in Jai Newcomb. We're going to try and resurrect his career because he has fallen off the last 2 seasons, has not been anywhere. But our midfield got a whole lot better. It was already really, really good. We've got Nick Martin to sort of replace Jack Sinclair. I know they're kind of different players, but he's going to be playing across that half-back line, maybe even in a back pocket. But those are the only changes that we have made. We've brought in a little bit of leadership with Brayshaw. Newcomb is in the prime of his career, and Nick Martin is just a really solid contributor at half-back. But we're all done. We're not going to do the draft or anything because I'm just going to skip over it because there's nothing really meaningful for us to do. I'll quickly cover the off-season signings of other clubs, and then we'll get straight into next season. It's been a big free agency and trade period league-wide. The Swans have received pick 40 after losing George Stevens to Essendon. Ned Moyles off to Melbourne. Gold Coast get a little bit of compensation there. William Green has been traded from the Swans to Carlton for pick 35 and pick 13. Bodie Hewland's off to North for an unused draft pick. That's quite funny. Rochelli's off to the Swans from the Crows for pick 24. Billy Wilson's been traded from Carlton to the Suns for 2 unused picks. That's hilarious. Sam de Koning's off to Port for pick 26. And these are our trades that we've already covered. Ashton Moyer is off to Geelong from Carlton for an unused draft pick and pick 26. Thilthorpe's been traded to the Swans. That would never happen. But anyway, pick 3, he got traded for. Logan McDonald has been traded to Collingwood. So Sydney are basically switching up their key forwards. And Collingwood send pick 27 off to Sydney. Cooper Sharman, who I believe was on our list at one point, he's been traded from North to Essendon for pick 33. Jimmy Rowbottom has been traded along with pick 13 to Richmond for pick 2. So the Swans have been really busy. Matt Whitlock from North Melbourne has been traded to Brisbane for pick 16. Jasper Fletcher's been traded to Richmond for a future first-round pick. Matt Snyder has been traded from Carlton to the Crows for pick 24. And Jeremy Sharp has been traded from Geelong to the Eagles for pick 28. I believe he was another player that was also on our list at one point. I know I said I wasn't going to cover the draft at any point in this season, but there are some really good prospects at the point of which we are drafting, which is the 22nd overall pick. And we're going to take Avery Brandt, the 17-year-old, 71 overall, 88 to 99 potential. If we're going to get more players like this, I will cover the draft, but if not, I will now see you in the off-season. Start of the new season, not the off-season. We're in the off-season. We've put together our best 22 for the upcoming season. We've got a preseason game. I believe it's up against North Melbourne, but we've got the team here. We've got Braden Boyce, Will Dawson, Nick Martin, Travalia, Easton Lang, and Naziah Wanganeen Miller across our half-back line. We've got McKercher, we've got Jack Steele, who's 33 years of age now. Jai Newcomb in his prime, Andy Brayshaw in his prime, the Bont, 338 games, 330 goals, he's so good. Tom De Koning in the ruck, Mitch Owens at half forward, Max King at centre half forward, Brian Myers in the other half forward flank, and then Cody Waitman, Ben King at full forward, Jack Higgins still going at 29 years of age, Murphy Reid on the bench, Alexander Taru on the bench, Avery Brandt, who we just drafted, and Nick Larkey as well as our other sort of backup key forward, with Angus Hastie as the sub. This might be one of the best teams that I've built that hasn't won a premiership so far. We're going to put it through. Preseason is it's a home game at Moorabbin, so hopefully we can get the win here. It's a 21-point win against North Melbourne, who we've actually got quite a few of their players on our team, but that is not important. Our main goal, and I've already done the objectives, we did it the same as last season, win the premiership. We're going to try and gain some members, of course, and win 8 games at our home ground throughout the home and away season. Fingers crossed we can get that done. But I'm just going to skip through to our home game at round 1 against the Swans. We appear to have no injuries, which is nice. Yes, we have no injuries, which is good. So we'll go unchanged. Can we beat the Swans? Round 1 at home. We get it done. We win by 20 in the end. We kick 23 behinds, which isn't ideal. Steele, Brayshaw, and Newcomb in the votes. I'm just going to go straight through to the finals period because there is no way this team doesn't make finals. I may have to end the video after 5 seasons if we don't make finals. It has been a dominant home and away season. We actually finish on top of the ladder with, I think, a really big win streak towards the end of the season. I think it might have been 6 or 7 games and a really strong percentage. We did have some really big wins towards the back end of the season. We beat the West Coast Eagles by 100 in round 24. We beat Essendon by 69 in round 23. We beat the Crows by 99 at home by 20 in round 22. Another 69-point win against Richmond. 46 wasn't too big, but there was a really big one here against Port Adelaide. We beat them by 127, 204 to 77 in Adelaide. Really, really solid performance, but we are top of the ladder. We are going to be facing GWS in a home qualifying final, I should say. And I believe we are injury-free, which is fantastic. We basically are full strength. There's no need to change anything. Braden Boyce, who we drafted in Season 1, has now played 100 games. So that is exactly how long we've been playing this series for. Travali is up to 119 games. Wanganeen Miller has almost played 200. Easton Lang, who we also drafted in Season 1, has played 84 games. We've been playing a long time. Anyway, GWS at home. Can we win? Yes, we do, by 35 points. Really get the job done. Let's have a look at the top stat getters. Andy Brayshaw, 51. Is it Angus or Andy? I've been saying Andy the whole time. I think it's Andy Brayshaw plays for Fremantle. Anyway, 51 touches. Outstanding achievement. Jai Newcomb, 36 touches and 2 goals. Jack Higgins kicked 2 as well. Phenomenal performance. Let's get through to the prelim. 2 injuries, unfortunately. Jai Newcomb is going to be out, and there appears to be somebody else in the reserves. Lachlan Smith is injured in the reserves, unfortunately. Who are we going to bring in? Who are we going to bring in? Let's have a look. I guess we'll move Murphy Reid off the bench onto that wing. Hastie can come on as out of the sub position. Jai Newcomb, hopefully, I don't know how long the injury is. We'll just have to play it by ear. Who's going to come in? I know we drafted James Walker in the rookie draft. He's really declined over the course of the season. Put Ryan Burns in. Hopefully the injury's not too long for Jai Newcomb. It's just a hamstring strain. That's fine. So if we win, we should be able to get through to the grand. We will be going through to the grand final if we do win. I've just seen that Max King and Ben King are leading the goal kicking for the competition, which is hilarious. that they're 1 and 2, considering they're twins. But anyway, we've got Brisbane, who have been the best team all season, barring us. They are second on the ladder. Hopefully we can get the win. Oh, for God's sake. Will Ashcroft, 32 disposals. Levi Ashcroft, 3 goals and 29 disposals. Brian Myers kicked 5. It's another season. Down the toilet. Oh, my. Andy Brayshaw ends up winning the Brownlow medal, tied with Josh Smiley on 27 votes. Any other St Kilda players here? I can see the Bont has 17 votes, but nobody else, it seems like. And then Max King wins the Coleman. Ben King in second. Shannon Neal actually tied for second on 41. Anybody else from the Saints? Not that I can see, not that I was really expecting that, but a very, very good effort by the King twins. And our guy did not win the Rising Star, unfortunately. But I'm assuming we're going to have quite a few All-Australians. Easton Lang was very, very good. Brayshaw got All-Australian. The Coleman medalist does not make the All-Australian team. That is absolutely criminal. And this time the Giants win the Premiership over the Brisbane Lions. So I'm happy that Brisbane didn't win the Premiership. But I suppose it does hurt that we have to go do another season. I'm going to go balls to the wall in this off-season. If we do not win a Premiership, I don't know what I'm going to do, because the title of the video is winning a Premiership. The video ends or something like that when St Kilda win a Premiership. So they will win a Premiership in this video. But if they don't win one this season, I have no idea what I'm going to do. This is panic stations. The 2029 trade period and free agency is now done, and I've had to swing the axe a little bit with a few of our players just to, I need to get this done, because if I don't get it done soon, I will never get it done. Nick Larkey, we're sending him back to North Melbourne alongside Cody Waitman and Jack Higgins. We're finally saying goodbye to him. We want to get together a second round pick 29. It's not a particularly valuable pick, but we just wanted to get rid of them, and they're gone. Bye-bye. We've also said goodbye to the Bond and James Barrett, who we actually drafted back in the rookie draft. We've sent pick 18, which is our own first round pick, and a future first round pick off to the Doggies in exchange for pick 5. You can see that's been sent to Hawthorn. I'll get around to that later. We also picked up pick 10 from Collingwood in exchange for, I think, is it Connor Nichols or Cooper Nichols? It's one of those two. And Lauman Luau, I think his name is, and pick 37, which was our own, I believe. That's now with Collingwood. We get pick 10, and we have sent Jack Steele. We've said farewell to the skipper. What a career he's had with St Kilda. Unfortunately, just couldn't get the Premiership done. He was up for a contract renewal. He wanted about $1.15 million a season, and I couldn't justify it. So we've sent him pick 5 and pick 10 that we've received in those trades for pick 1. You will understand why in a minute. Because there is a player in this draft who is 16 years of age. He's a 72 overall and is 89 to 99 potential. His name is Alex Kerr. He had a very, very good, state championships with the Allies. And we are going to be drafting him with the number 1 pick. We are sacrificing some of our older players, as we did at the start of the save file, for some youth. And he obviously built us up a little bit, but we're going to be trying to draft him with the number 1 pick. I'm assuming it will all be fine. But that is not all the business we have done, because we've also gone to free agency once again, where we have signed Harry Sheasel, Luke Jackson, and Jordan Clark. We're just sort of building up those key positions, especially Luke Jackson, as Tom De Koning is getting older. Luke Jackson's going to take over the number 1 ruck, and Tom De Koning will move to the bench. Harry Sheasel, he's going to replace Jack Steele in that midfield, and Jordan Clark is going to strengthen up that back line, which we've sort of been building up over the last couple of seasons. Apart from that, no other real changes. There's a whole bunch of uncontracted players here. We're just going to let them all go because, you know what, we'll draft some new people in the rookie draft and the national draft. We'll just skip over that, as we have done the last couple of seasons, just to save time, because quite honestly, none of these players have meant a damn thing to me over the course of this series so far. And we've actually been proposed our first trade of the video. We've got Easton Lang who's been trying to be poached from the Giants in exchange for pick 20 and pick 39. I'm going to say no to that because he's very important to us and we need him at centre-half back. Sorry, GWS. And we've actually received another trade offer from the Crows too in one season. Hasty and pick 59 in exchange for a future second and pick 32. I'm going to say no to that. Everybody's after my players all of a sudden. Easton Lang, again, Port Adelaide. We're going to be saying no. With the trade period officially closed, we can now go over the basically off-season movement of all the other teams. Josh Draper has been signed by the Western Bulldogs. Freo have received some compensation for that, as did Essendon, who lost Nick Bryan. Brady Hough has now been signed by not North Melbourne, just regular Melbourne. Ollie Dempsey has been traded by the Bulldogs back to Geelong in exchange for pick 5 and Josh Worrell. Bit of a strange move, but sure. Judd McVie has been sent to Richmond from North Melbourne for pick 29. These are the trades that we made. Aidan Riddle has been signed by the Sydney Swans. Gold Coast received a bit of comp there. Jace Burgoyne has been traded from Carlton to Brisbane for pick 19. Bailey Humphrey and pick 8 are off to the West Coast Eagles in exchange for a future first and pick 26. Mac Andrews has been traded to Brisbane, crossing town for pick 9. The Suns have been very busy in this trade period. Isaac Dodson has been traded to the Crows for a future first round pick and pick 12. I think he might be a made up player, but sure. Sawyer Clifford has been traded for an unused pick. Will Graham's been traded to the Bombers from the Suns for pick 45 and pick 27. Tom Anastopoulos is off to the West Coast Eagles for a future second. Zane Zakostaleski, I feel like I've done a pretty good job there, has been traded from the Lions to the Bulldogs for pick 34. Luke Lloyd's off to the Suns for pick 26. Josiah Delana, that's a great name, has been traded from GWS to Hawthorn for pick 42. Riak Andrew has been signed by the Giants. Melbourne received a bit of compensation. Lockie Jakes has been traded by the Bulldogs to the Suns for pick 45, pick 27. We're almost done. Logan Morris has been traded from Brisbane to GWS for pick 20 and pick 59. And we've recently passed 75,000 members. Awesome. And with the first pick in the draft, it is no surprise we're going to be taking Alex Kerr, who, I don't believe it, is 16 years of age. I don't know how that's legal. We're going to be drafting him. For whatever reason, Isaac Kako is available in the draft, so no shock horror, we are going to be drafting him. 2030 is here, and this has to be the year. I said this last year, but this has to be the year. It's the best team we've put together. We're an 85 overall squad. And we've got Alex Terrell, Will Dawson, Nick Martin, Wanganeen Miller, Easton Lang, and Jordan Clark as our backline. Toby Travalia, the new captain of the club. Now that Jack Steele is no longer a part of the club, he is going to be taking the lead from the front at 23 years of age. Jai Newcomb in the guts, Harry Sheasel, Andy Brayshaw, Colby McKercher. They're all there. McKercher's a 95 overall. What a good trade that was. Isaac Kako, who we picked up in the draft. That's strange, but all right. Max King, Brian Myers, Machito, Ben King, Avery Brent, who we drafted last year, Tom De Koning, Braden Boyce, 104 games, what a guy. Murphy Reed, Alex Kerr, who we've given the number 1 Guernsey after trading Jack Higgins, the number 1 draft pick. He's going to do a job for us off that bench, as we know. And Angus Hasty as the sub. There's nothing more I can say. We're just going to keep going, ploughing ahead until we win this premiership. We beat the Crows in pre-season. Nothing much to say about it. We win by 57 in Adelaide. So, yeah, nice job, us. Objectives for the year, win the grand final, 10 games at home, and gain 30,000 members, which I think we gained 11,000 members last year by about round 5. So, who knows? We may be able to just scrape past the 100,000 members mark. I think we're currently at 81,000 members. So, if we need to get 30,000, 110,000 members by the end of the year, good luck at us. But we've got the Suns at home to open the 2030 season for us. We're just going to go through our training. Nobody's injured, as we like to see. We had a lot of injuries early on, but we've been okay since then. It's a big win at Marvel. Sheasel gets the 3 votes. Noah Anderson kicks 5. Maybe a little bit unlucky to not get the 3 votes. Isaac Kako on debut kicks 3, as did Jackson, as did Jordan Clark. Really solid performance. Time for the finals. We're in the same position as last year. We finish on top of the ladder. Actually, I think we finished in second last time. But we've got the Swans in a home qualifying final. This time last year, we won it. And then we went to a prelim and lost to Brisbane. Brisbane are in third this year. We finished top of the ladder with 84 points, 21 wins, 2 losses, with a percentage of 154. What a performance we have done this season. Surely this is the year. This has to be the year. We go in, we're doing well. Can we beat the... Oh no! This cannot be happening. I do not understand what is happening. Are we just major toke artists? Does God hate St Kilda? I don't know what it is. We now have Richmond at home as our semi-final. Who did they beat in their final? They beat Collingwood, who I think finished in 8th. So they won by 49 points. Geelong absolutely belted Brisbane, and Melbourne beat the Doggies. So no farewell premiership for the Bont. Surely we beat Richmond. We do. We're through to the prelim. We are 58-point winners this week. Harry Sheasel does very, very well. And Brayshaw gets 40 disposals. Very, very nice. It's the Cats at the G. Boy, oh boy. First versus second. You'd think we're a shot at winning this. You would have to think that we would win this game. Jeremy Cameron is still playing. How many goals has he kicked for his career? How can I find that out? I want to have a look at Jeremy Cameron's career. He's got to be close to 1,000. So he just kicked his 700th this year, and we're 5 years into the future. He has kicked 839 goals and 720, but he's played 395 games. Good God. Okay. Anyway, that's just something we have to worry about. I'm going to select the lineup. We're doing okay. Prelim final time. Second season in a row. We win. 67-point winners. We're through to the grand final. God doesn't hate St Kilda after all. 4 goals 17 for Geelong at 3/4 time. Harry Sheasel, best on in this one. Who kicked all? Jeremy Cameron, 1 goal 6 was absolutely putrid. Max King, 0 goals 4. Ben King, 1 goal 3. It's grand final time. Let's go. And of course, it had to be the team that knocked us out last year and eventually lost the premiership, I believe, to GWS, who actually didn't make the finals this year, which is a little strange. But anyway, we got to play this one. It's what happens at the end of all of these videos. We play the grand final if we ever get to it. 2.5-minute quarters. Let's edit the lineup, see who's in there. We've got Brant in a forward pocket, who we drafted. Apparently he's 13 years of age. It's showing the age of if it was a 2025 game. That makes sense. Anyway, Avery Brant, Ben King, Mitch Owens, who's still here, Brian Myers, Max King, Isaac Kako, who's really impressed in his first season as a Saint, Colby McCurchie's up to a 96 overall, Jai Newcomb, Toby Travalia, there's a new Uncle Toby in town, Andy Brayshaw, Harry Sheasel, Luke Jackson, Wanganeen Miller, Easton Lang, Jordan Clark, Alexander Taru, Will Dawson, and Nick Martin in the other back pocket with Tom De Koning, Braden Boyce, Murphy Reed, Alex Kerr, who's 12 years old apparently, and Angus Hasty as the sub. What a game it's going to be. I hope it's a good one. I hope we can get the job done. There's actually no real need to change the Guernseys. Let's go. Brisbane St Kilda 2030 grand final. Let's get into it. MCG, bit of cloud and a little bit of wind as well. The umps are coming out. I don't know how long it's been since St Kilda last made a grand final. It would be 2011. So it's been 19 years since St Kilda have made a grand final. They last won one in 1966, which, quick maths, is 64 years. And out come the Saints, with Toby Travalia leading from the front. Uncle Toby, not the original Uncle Toby, but he's the new Uncle Toby. And it's great to have him here. And we've got one of the youngest #1 picks in history, Alex Kerr, on the bench. Hopefully we can get a bit of game time into him today, as at just 16 years of age, he has been a revelation. And Ross the Boss, still in charge all these years later. And up come the Brisbane Lions, who have won a premiership in the video already, have been very, very active in the trade market over the seasons. They've got Cadman, they've got Mac Andrew, they've got Matt Whitlock from North Melbourne. I was going to say Port Adelaide. The Ashcraft boys are still there. Lachie Neale's still there. And they beat us in the prelim final last season. We've got to get our revenge today. How the hell is Dane Zorko still playing? He's got to be 40. We're going to call heads on the toss on this one. Toby Travalia, 23 years of age, and he's won the toss. We're going to kick to the left of screen. Hopefully, that's going to serve us well in this one. And it's all come down to this. Luke Jackson, back in grand finals once again. He famously won one with the D's in 2021. That's not 15. Quick ball over the top, gets tackled. Oh my God, it's madness. It's already gone absolutely nuts. Okay, let's lay some tackles. Wanganeen, Miller, and Burgoyne. Two very famous names. There's a ball up at our half-forward line. Jackson and McInerney. The Big O still present. King's giving chase. I don't know which one. It was actually Jackson. Lachie Neale gets wrapped up. Andy Brayshaw giving chase. Great tackle on Ashcroft. We got another ball up. Wide ball out of the stoppage. Trying to find a target. How is that? I wasn't looking for insufficient intent. But luckily we get the intercept mark via Jordan Clark across from Freo. I think it was just this past off-season. The off-seasons have sort of blended into one. We finally get it clear of Fremantle. Why do I keep thinking about Fremantle? Golly me, this commentary has been absolutely putrid since we've started. Will Dawson looking in the Brayshaw direction. Takes the mark on the Big O. We've got a player short here. We're going to go a little bit over the top. It's Brian Myers. All of these players I've not really seen in St Kilda jumpers before. Down to full forward. Machino can't take the mark. Handball over the top. Quick kick towards goal. It's out of bounds on the full. So nerves already in the opening quarter. 12 minutes gone and not a score on the board yet from either team. Will Lawrence kick short. Handball back. Great tackle on Wanganeen Miller trying to get rid of the ball. He can't and is holding the ball. Now Easton Lang gets the intercept mark at half forward. Kicks it short. Finds Ben King. Now of the King twins, I don't actually know who's older or who's younger. But Ben King, traded from the Suns a few seasons ago now. Not actually going to make the distance. Gets touched on the line for a behind. Good to get the first score on the board. Porterfield in the back pocket. Kicks it short. Very brave kick. Mac Andrew and a Brisbane Guernsey is a little disgusting as a Sun supporter, I will admit. Aaron Cadman pushing up the ground. Finds Stanton. Kako standing the mark. Kicks it short. Only goes as far as Easton Lang, having a good game at centre-half back so far. Travalia, the skipper, can't take the mark. Porterfield does a really good job. Can we get the intercept mark via Newcomb? We do. It's a mark on the siren. We're not going to make the distance. So just a behind to St Kilda to start the game off. It's been really tough so far. Brisbane, although they haven't scored, have been really, really interesting to see what they've come up with so far. Let's get into the second quarter. We got TDK in the ruck for the first time today. Alex Kerr standing to, I believe that's Lachie Neale back there. Jace Burgoyne in the middle as well. Quick hands in the contest. Can't find anybody. Quick kick forward by Brisbane. Now in the hands of the Big O. My big Viking. He's a beautiful man. The Taru kicks it down the line. Looking for TDK. Standing on Kai Lohman. Kai Lohman with the fist does a really good job. And now Lachie Neale's got to play about 500 games at this point. He's been in the league forever. Easton Lang, another disposal at centre-half back. Down the line. Ball's out the back. Picked up by Stanton. Few new names that we've had to get used to here today. Lang once again finds Murphy Reid. Kicking it wide. Looking for Mitch Owens. Ball goes to ground. Quick kick forward. No, he can't get boot to ball. Sheasel gets wrapped up. Down the line now for Brisbane. And Braden Boyce, one of our first draft picks. Nice to see he's in the grand final side. Owens again can't take the mark. This time, Murphy Reid gets it. Let's just kick down to full forward. Ben King, he's down there, and he takes it. There's a bit of wind behind us that's pushing to the left. So we got to be careful here. Sets it on line. Not strong enough, though. Another behind. 17 minutes gone into the second quarter, and we haven't seen a goal yet from either side. We need an intercept mark here. Will Dawson does well. He's going to play on. Keep the ball moving forward. And we got Mitch Owens again. We've got a player at the back. I think it's Ben King pushing up the ground. His brother's down there as well. He does well to take the mark. And we need a goal here just to sort of settle the nerves here. Ben King's had all the shots on goal so far. He's finally put one through on the halftime siren. What a job he's done today, getting St Kilda onto the scoreboard. But if he was kicking a little bit straighter, I think we'd be in a much better position. Third quarter, here we come. Lachie Neale standing right in front of us. Luke Jackson in the ruck. Knocks it down. We're trying to get it out. We can't, unfortunately. Ball's pumped forward by Brisbane. And Braden Boyce does a fantastic job once again. He looks wide. Murphy Reid's got a big job to do here, but Luke Jackson, his ruckman, helps him out. Former teammates, obviously, at Fremantle. We actually have quite a lot of Fremantle players on our team. That was not intentional. And now Max King, the prodigal son of St Kilda, wearing the famous number 12. One of the few players that I'm surprised I didn't trade at any point. But he's kept the faith with that kick. He's put it through, and it's a 14-point lead. Another hit out one by Luke Jackson. We get the advantage. Handball over the top. There's one wide. Quick kick towards goal. It's a short kick, actually, and it's in the hands of Machito. Back-to-back quick goals. Really, really helping the cause in this grand final. Loose ball in the forward half for us. Quick kick forward. It's another great kick, and Avery Brandt. That's right, I was going to say Braden Brandt. But Avery Brandt, drafted him 2 seasons ago. He's a young player with a lot of potential. And he's a ginger. We love the gingers. 4 in a row for the Saints. And Brisbane are in all sorts. Quick kick forward by Cadman. Is it a mark on the goal line? No, Brisbane have their first. Really impressive stuff by the youngster from GWS. Just picked it up, dobs it through. And an exceptional job for Brisbane to finally get on the scoreboard. Almost towards the end of the third quarter. Quick kick forward by Kerr now. Murphy Reid gets bodied by Porterfield, who's had a lot of the ball today. Kerr having a big job on Burgoyne here. Saying those two names make it sound like the 2000s again. Now we got Owens. Actually, no, it's O'Sullivan, excuse me. Kicking forward, finds the Viking. Let's kick down the line. Murphy Reid takes the mark. 21 minutes gone. Has had 5 disposals so far. Lining up for his first, yet to hit the scoreboard. That is a beautiful kick. Famously kicked 4 on debut against the Geelong Cats. And he's got one today on grand final day. Probably the biggest kick of his career, as it's now a 26-point game. 24 minutes gone into the third quarter. Ball going forward for Brisbane. Not good enough. Wanganeen Miller. We stuck by him all those years ago. And there's the siren for three-quarter time. Brian Myers actually takes a nice mark. Not going to count, though, as the Brisbane Lions need to kick 5 goals to win. And this is it. The fourth quarter of the grand final. The 2030 grand final. Our rebuilds have never taken this long in the past. That is a great tackle on Jai Newcomb, and we've got a ball up. Jackson again in the ruck, trying to find Kerr down there. The 16-year-old's holding his own. Lockie Neal pushing forward in about his 593rd game. Ball comes loose in the contest. Brisbane looking for a target, only find Wanganeen Miller. Down the line now from Wanganeen Miller. Kicks it straight to Burgoyne, who plays on very quickly. Kicks it straight back to Wanganeen Miller. Just like kick to kick in the park. Short one over the top to Ben King. Very, very good game by him so far. Down the line, McKercher, I don't think he's touched it today. And we've got a player over the top, Brian Myers, who signed as a free agent from Geelong. Took a really nice mark on three-quarter time that didn't actually count. Can he put one through? No, he can't. 5 goals, 3 plays, 1 goal straight. Brisbane just trying to work it out of their defensive 50. The Big O finds Josh Dunkley. Kicking it short. And the Viking, once again, goes a little wider than expected, actually. Ball goes to ground. Poor disposal in the end by the Viking. May get it back here, and he does. Let's send it a bit more centrally after that attempt. Brayshaw can't take the mark. Handball over the top to King. Quick one to Kako. Quick snap in board. Straight to Max King. Great unselfish play by Kako. And for a 5-goal lead in the fourth quarter of the 2030 grand final, the Saints are marching in now. Brisbane working it forward via Cam Rayner. The Viking has been so good today. Down the line now, looking for Andy Brayshaw at half forward. Great hands by Porterfield over the top. Now Levi Ashcroft over the top to Cam Rayner, who has a ton of space he can run into. Kicks it short to Lang. Probably should have gone for goal. One of those rare attempts where you'd almost rather the player go for goal than take it himself. Ball's out the back in the midfield. And Luke Jackson's running onto it. Long ball forward to Max King. Whitlock's down there. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Kerr's out the back. He was going to kick a goal in the grand final. Not to be. But St Kilda have broken a drought. I don't remember how long the drought's been.
It's been 84 years.
But what a performance it's been by these Saints. And you can see how much it means to them. And Brisbane lose back-to-back grand finals. And Ross Lyon, look at him. He finally gets his first premiership as coach. He's been coaching for almost 23 years. We started coaching in 07. He went to St Kilda. He left St Kilda, went to Freo. Lost a grand final there. And finally came back to St Kilda and won their second grand final in club history. And it's now time for the presentations. And I believe that is Max King with that filthy moustache who gets the Norm Smith medal for his goal-kicking contributions. I think he won a Coleman back a couple of seasons ago. He can now add a Premiership medal and a Norm Smith to that tally. Ross the Boss finally gets his Premiership medal. And Toby Travalia, his first year as captain, is going to lift that Premiership Cup that those Saints fans have so desperately craved for so long. And here we go. Lift it up, Uncle Toby. And apparently Cole Porterfield got the Norm Smith medal for going by the on-screen votes. He got the 3, Alex Taru got the 2, and Easton Lang, who I thought probably deserved it, to be perfectly honest, got the 1. Jai Newcomb got a lot of the ball. Brayshaw, Murphy Reid, Easton Lang was very good. Murphy Reid could have been a shout as well, but Max King with the 2 goals. Porterfield only had the 4 disposals, so I'm a little bit surprised that he got it. Actually, the 9 disposals. I'm looking at intercept marks. 9 disposals for Porterfield. Newcomb had 8, Brayshaw 7. But a very, very solid performance by the St Kilda Saints in this game. We finally win that grand final. We complete our objective. We don't quite get the 30,000 members this season, but the finances are looking very, very healthy, and we are finally done. Let's go through the season awards. Colton Tholstrup gets the Brownlow medal after finishing second a couple of seasons ago. Maybe it was last season, I don't remember. Sheasel finished second. Tom Green again finishing in a podium position. Andy Brayshaw and Newcomb up there as well. Coleman medal, Jeremy Cameron gets another one. Josh Treacy and Thilthorpe up there as well. I can't see any Saints. Max King got some goals. No Ben King, which is a little bit surprising, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. And then Rising Star, no votes for my boy Alex Kerr. A little bit sad about that one, to be perfectly honest. And in the All-Australian team, Luke Jackson makes it as a wing, funnily enough. Harry Sheasel is in there. Any other Saints? No. So quite a poor effort from the Saints in the All-Australian things in the grand scheme of this video, to be perfectly honest. Stats-wise, Max King led the goal kicking for us, as we know. Ben King, Machito, Luke Jackson, Jai Newcomb, Colby McKercher. A lot of players kicking over 30 goals in the end. Harry Sheasel, almost 1,000 disposals on the season. Was absolutely incredible. Who gets the idiot hat this year? Ben King. Well done, good sir. 97 behinds. Almost broke the 100-point threshold, which I don't think's ever been done in AFL history. So almost got it done, but not to be. But this marathon of a video is finally done. Good God. Okay. If you want to see your team done next, I'm going to put a poll up once this video is live, and that video will probably come out sometime next week. Thank you so much for watching up until this point, guys. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year if you would very much like to help me out. That is the best way you can. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.